to the kill zone. I feel the silence chasing me. Shadows follow me everywhere I go. Danger's near, I can feel it. Say my name, feel that flame. Welcome to the kill zone. Welcome to the kill zone.
Well, hello once again, River Valley Radio viewers. My name is Grant Magic, forever your host of River Valley Radio. I'm also the Prime Minister of New Strathclyde, if you've seen that one about. Uh, Welcome back to another interview. It's very nice to see you again. And today we have Miss Ellie Penhollow, um, who is a current Cornish activist. If you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself, Ellie.
Div there. LEOV, Hag Canoic I'm a Cornish activist. I am currently in Kerno, and I am fighting for Cornwall to be a nation.
Excellent, excellent. And if you don't mind, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright. I'm alright. Thank you very much. So just to get into a little bit of what's going to go on tonight. Again, this is an interview, a service which I do once a month. No, once every 4 weeks, because doing it every week, quite honestly, was a bit of a pain in the backside when I did it a few years ago. So thanks very much for appearing tonight, Ellie. I really appreciate that you're here.
It's no problem at all.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So we'll just get into the line of questioning, and so you know I do know that at one point you were into the whole Micronations game yourself, and I feel like, as far as I know, you still interact with it at some point, well, to some degree, but not as much maybe as you once did. You once did. So how did you find Micronations initially?
I first found Micronations after exploring the topic of self-determination for Cornwall. I wanted a way to express myself and a desire for Cornwall to have self-determination, and I thought this would be a good way to express my views.
Mm, excellent. I kind of how I found it as well. I found it through the medium of what's his name, Kevin Barr. I lost you if you've ever heard of that guy. Uh,
Yeah, I've heard of him.
yeah, the big guy. Uh, and just to move on, do you currently have a micronation? Again, I'm aware of a couple of micronations that you may have had in the past, but you have one right now.
Yeah, it's kind of active, kind of not. It's a merger of 5 nations at the minute because they're all coming back together to merge into one big one. So it's kind of on the table right now.
Is there like any set out plans for that, or is it again is it all just in the discussion phase?
It's mostly in the air at the minute.
Mm. Okay, okay. What were your previous micronations?
But I began with the Republic of Corsair. That ran from 2022, I believe,
Mm,
and then it was Stretmerlin. Then I had Trivian under Horica until we declared independence.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I also had New Linkwork. It was a county of Stretmerlin for some time. Then it declared independence.
Excellent, excellent. And did these fit with the Cornish identity, or were these outside it, or again were they transposed into it?
Well, Stratmerdin was mostly Cornish focused, but the other nations they had some focus on Cornwall, but the main focus was on the wider pan Celtic world, so like
Mm,
Cornwall, Wales, Scotland, Brittany, Isles of Man, etc.
hmm. Okay, okay. And currently you're pushing for devolution rights for Cornwall. Um, will this if Cornwall miraculously gains independence, let's just say for argument's sake, England decides we're just going to let Cornwall go, will you still pursue micronational at that point, or will you continue advocating for greater rights for the Cornish people? And again, how will that fit into to everything?
Well, at the minute, I'm not pushing for Cornish independence, but in less your hypothetical world, if it did have independence, probably. My original goals were just to show my views for Cornwall and
Hmm.
desires. It's a really nice community. There are some bad actors, there's some good actors. It's just a nice community to be in, and it's a way to express yourself. Yeah, I'll probably stay in it.
And what are, how do other people view Cornish identity? At least in the immediate vicinity or community that you're in, how do other people interact with the Cornish identity and Cornwall maybe having greater
It's a
devolution
really
rights,
mixed
or
bag.
yeah, on independence?
It's just a mixed bag, honestly. There's loads of xenophobic abuse online about it.
Hmm.
But recently I haven't finding a lot of English people are supportive of it. Um, it's not like we're asking for much. We're just asking for basic rights. Yeah, it just really depends, really. The
Yeah.
English nationalists,
Mhm.
some support it, most don't. But yeah, in micronations, it's mostly been supportive.
Yeah, at least in micronationalism, movements, much like Cornwall, or I think Somaliland was like a big one, maybe 5, 10 years ago, something like that, and Catalonia as well, and so
Yeah,
as far as I'm aware, the micronational community will always support movements such as independence for those particular regions.
yeah. There there was some damage to the Cornish community in micronations because of one micronationalist. I forget her name, but I feel like we're in a good spot at the minute. There's been a load of support from the community.
Yeah, yeah, and I've heard that you're involved in Cornish nationalist parties. Like I'm probably gonna butcher the names here, but maybe on Kerno and Kerno Ride. I think that's the only way that I could probably pronounce on. What's your relationship with these parties, and what exactly do you advocate for when it comes to these kinds of things?
Well, I joined maybe in Kerno this year after leaving the Green Party. I've been helping out with Kerno Read, the youth wing of maybe in Kerno, with social media, so like the thumbnails, some videos, stuff like that. One day I hope to run as a candidate for maybe in Kerno in UK War, well Cornwall wards.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I just want to be a team player of the party. I want to help maybe in Kerno and Kerno Read. I want to help fight for Cornwall.
Excellent, excellent. And when it comes to these kinds of parties, where would you say that you see yourself maybe in about 5 or 10 years or something like that? How do you think your relationship and your career within these parties will go? Maybe if we're projecting maybe a 10 year future, what do you think is going to happen?
Honestly, that's really hard to say because Cornish politics right now, it's like it's so diverse, so like on the edge. Because you have the Cornwall Council demanding nationhood and some of the MPs, but
Mhm.
then it can change within a week and then be completely different in a year. It just really depends. I can't really say for the future, but I hope to still be fighting for Cornwall.
No, that's excellent. And again, that's where ideally that you like to be within that kind of time frame is just to be not so much in the same place, but maybe a little bit higher up the food chain, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It's fine. Uh, Moving on. So the UK wishes to merge Cornwall, or at least what I've heard is Cornwall and Devon into one county. I think it's called Devonwall. Do you
yeah, they've tried it
yeah,
loads.
do you support this? If not, why? If you do, why?
I don't think I'd be able to call myself Cornish if I supported that. That's basically taking the last strip of Cornish identity away and giving it over to Devon.
Mhm.
If we were to merge into Devon, well, we're basically handing over all the political power, our identity, our land. It's basically just giving up at that point.
Yeah. Is that what you feel if Devon and Cornwall merged into one county, that Devon would just completely push the Cornish people out of politics entirely?
Definitely.
How do you think that they would go about that?
Well, under the most recent plans I had um, there would have been one unitary authority council thing across Cornwall and Devon. Out of the leaders of it, I think Devon would have had like 4 or 5, and Cornwall would have had one.
Yeah.
They would have taken our political voice away fully, well, basically fully, and we'd have no say, less funding, and yeah, it'd be a disaster for Cornwall. We're trying to fight for nationhood, but if we were to do that, our fight's basically over.
Yeah, yeah. I certainly know when it's come to other counties, globally at least, usually what happens is uh, that the smaller people or the smaller tribe generally has less say. When the bigger tribe conquers another tribe, it's the smaller tribe generally has less say. Um, I do know that more people do live in Devon compared to Cornwall, and that is probably a factor into that as well. Um, at least when it would come to or politically to Cornwall and general. 'Cause Cornwall's is very, very a high density tourist place, at least internally within the United Kingdom, and that's always nice. I've only ever heard stories of what Cornwall's like. I'm not sure if you're aware. Well, you would live in Cornwall, so you probably know what. Tell me a little bit about Cornish life, Cornish identity, Cornish architecture, Cornish culture. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's pretty hard to fully say because sadly I live in the most Anglo-Welsh part of Cornwall. When you get into the proper like deep Cornwall though, you feel it in the air. The people you see Cornish on the street signs, in the train stations, on public buildings. It's really nice. You can tell it's not England. Um, you get to the proper Cornish villages and towns. It doesn't feel like you're just in another part of England. It feels like you've stepped into another nation like Wales
Mm.
or Scotland.
Yeah, that's maybe a bit of a problem up here, is because the Scottish borders, and at least like places like Newcastle and um maybe not Northumbria as well, or like that's like integrated culture, and you have to actually come up to places like Glasgow and Edinburgh and to actually experience Scotland. So I would imagine it's a little bit like that when it comes to Cornwall itself as well.
Yeah, I would say it is like that. Yeah.
So it's always been very strange the relationship with towns or countries near the borders. It's like if you go if you go France and Germany, it's like two cultures kind of intermeshed, and then you need to go further out as well, just like this part is definitely France and this part is definitely Germany, but somewhere in between here it's like, is it France, is it Germany? Who knows?
Yeah,
That's a great problem sometimes, or at least is what I find. So I mean, preposition on that is definitely against Devon Wall.
yeah.
And so, can you talk about any upcoming attendance, any events that you might be going to, maybe near future or possibly far future?
Well, I will be meeting the South East Cornwall MP on the 25th, and I'll be going to the Mibian Kerno National Conference on the 1st of November at Liskerno.
hmm And what's going to take place during if we could talk about what's going to take place at the generalized meeting, and then we'll cover exactly what you're going to do when it comes to meeting the MP. So can you talk a little bit about the actual event that you're going to, and I believe you said the 1st of November.
Yeah, this will be my first national conference I'm going to, so I'm not like fully informed, but I'm pretty sure there'll be speeches, policy making, policy voting. It'll basically be like a whole big planning session. Get to know each other as well because there's loads of new faces in Kerno Read that will be meeting the maybe in Kerno members as well.
hmm
Um, yeah, it's mostly um just a meet up, plan stuff, vote on subjects, and yeah.
So when it comes to maybe on Kernow members that you've already met, I'm not sure if you've met a lot of them or just a few of them. When it comes to your views, how exactly do you interact with other maybe on Kernow supporters or at least party members? How do your views fit exactly with theirs, or are they is it like I've got a little bit of,
Um,
your views, but I also support this as well, and you've got like a lot of views outside of what I believe too, or is it like grandiose? Just I believe exactly what you believe.
I don't think I've ever thought about that before. I've not had any major disagreements with people. We've had tiny disagreements over certain things, but it's mostly been the same along lines.
Mm,
We're all here to fight for Cornwall, one common goal. We'll get it done at the end of the day.
no, of course, absolutely. Um, I don't know when it comes to Scottish independence, it's kind of like people are on the fence about quite a lot of things. It's like, no, should we keep the pound? Should we not? Should we have a hard border against the rest of the UK? Should we not? Etc. Etc. And again, at least when it comes to Scottish independence, these are a lot of things that people generally disagree on. So I'm not sure. Maybe if Cornwall ever gained independence, there'll be a chance to join things like the Eurozone, maybe impose a soft border against the United Kingdom. Maybe trade. Maybe your biggest trading partner won't be England. Maybe it'll be France or Ireland or something like that. And again, I'm not like where exactly would your views and stances on these things be?
Well, um, I don't think it'd be good to comment on those sort of stances now because we're not fighting for independence at the minute.
hmm
We're fighting for Cornish devolution within the United Kingdom,
hmm
a more equal union. So
Yeah.
we want nation status, just like Wales, and a devolved Cornish assembly.
hmm at the moment, how does maybe in Cairnrow hope to achieve this?
Well, they want to set a mandate at the elections. They do have three Cornwall councillors at the minute. At the next Cornwall Council elections, it would send a strong message to Westminster if there was a majority Cornwall Council, maybe in Kerno government.
hmm
the national conference will probably set out more solid plans to the route to devolution, but I'd say we are pretty close as it is because the Cornwall Council right now
Mhm.
they've already motioned to have nation status. It was actually put forward by the Mabian Kano leader Dick Cole,
Yeah.
um, and there was cross-party support from that, apart from Reform, obviously, because they're far-right English nationalists. Um, and there were some MPs that were backing it as well.
Yeah, no, that is it's definitely progress. I do know if you go back at least 1,000 years, Cornwall was kind of its own country at least under what was it called, Wessex, at that particular time, Wessex, and then of course you had the greater English identity between Mercia, Northumbria, maybe East Anglia.
Well, I'd say there's been major progress already. If you tried to put that motion forward
Mhm.
just a few years ago, you'd be laughed out of Cornwall Council. But now, the fact that an official government body is back in nationhood status, that is a major milestone in the Cornish fight for devolution.
Absolutely, that absolutely is. Do you think Labour would support this? Do you think Keir Starmer would give Cornwall the rights and the nation status that it actually deserves?
Considering he laughed about it on national television, I don't think he would. But if we keep the pressure on
Mhm.
and get more people supporting maybe in Kerno, we can make real change and we can get that.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's that's always the best thing to do is to just continuously push for the exact same thing until people eventually give in. At least in 2014, back with the Scottish independence referendum, it was Alex Salmond, the first minister at that particular time, that continued to push and put pressure on the UK Parliament, that Scotland deserves to determine its own future or whatever else. And hopefully at some point, the powers that be actually realise that Cornwall deserves to govern itself to a certain degree. Much like Wales or Scotland or Northern Ireland. Just the powers that be, and again, hopefully they decide that this is finally the time that Cornwall gets to have its own rights.
Oh yeah, but hopefully that the north of Ireland won't be part of the UK very soon, because that should be part of Ireland. The north of Ireland is Irish.
So you believe that should go back to Northern Ireland? Sorry, you should be you
hundred
you
percent,
you
yeah.
believe Northern Ireland should go back to Greater Ireland?
Yes, I believe the north of Ireland should be reunited with Ireland.
No, why do you believe that?
It's occupied Celtic land. It's Irish. It's not British. It
Mhm.
needs to go back to its proper ownership.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm not going to say exactly my stance and my view on that. I'm not going to say whether or not I agree with that. I might tell you later on when we're off the interview. But again, uh, my exact opinion or stance on that. It's just I kind of need to take a non
That's fair enough.
what
I
what
just
what's
believe
what's it
as a
called?
Cornish
Yeah.
person, I should
Mhm.
be supporting the reunification of Ireland.
Yeah, no,
It's a yeah,
absolutely
it's a
could say
fellow
that.
Celtic nation struggling for their freedoms.
Hmm. Absolutely. Northern Ireland is a very very unionist place, though. It's supported a lot by a lot of royalists. Which I think if it came down to a referendum to rejoin Ireland, I think it might end up being a no because people are so like hard hard supporting
Well,
like
the
royalists
Irish
and
nationalists have
unionists.
been winning in government over there, so I'd say there's a good chance of unification.
No, absolutely. There definitely is. There always will be people that want to go back to the Republic of Ireland, but I feel like I, I kind of feel like a unionist ideology there is pushed so hard that people will continue to stay in the union, at least for Northern Ireland. For I couldn't
I
even tell you
reckon
how
it's on
long.
its
Yeah,
way out.
it probably is. You're probably right about that, but all I'm doing is projecting at this point. Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on. you have mentioned in the past that you're currently writing some kids books for or at least in Cornish. Are there any rehashes of old folk tales that you're doing? You know, much like oh God, what is it? Maybe Roald Dahl stuff like that, or is it your own like original stories that you're writing in books?
Well, right now I am. Well, I've wrote a book counting in Cornish. I'm
Hmm.
trying to get it published at the minute.
Hmm.
I'm not aiming for like full storybook type stuff. I'm looking at trying to make more learning material for younger kids who want to learn Cornish.
Hmm. And would you advocate for that to go out to schools? How do you intend to go about the publishing rights? How do you intend to get that to the greater Cornish public?
Well, I'm hoping that I'm able to get it published under a Cornish language group.
Hmm.
Um, if that does happen, I'm going to try apply to the Cornwall Council to have my book put into Cornish libraries.
Excellent, excellent. That's absolutely great. Um, they're all your own like original stories.
Well, it's just accounting books, so it's
Oh
as
right,
original as it can be.
right. Accounting books. Sorry, where's my tongue? Accounting books. So, how many numbers does it go up to? Will it go up to 10, 20,
Well, it goes up to 15 at the minute.
15 at the minute? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any plans for future books? Maybe certain phrases or words. Like you go to a foreign country, they've got these. You can have these foreign phrases that you can learn and speak to the locals in that
Yeah.
kind of language. Is that something that you maybe hope for too?
As long as my first book does go well and it's published
Hmm.
with as many no, as released issues as possible,
Hmm.
then yeah, it's definitely something I want to do.
Fair enough. Is that something that you would hope for sooner rather than later, or do you want to hash everything out first before you get it actually out to primary schools and stuff like that?
I'd rather have it like fully planned out, proper routes of it to go out. If it's rushed, it's not going to go anywhere, and then it's going to be just sitting in a pile, not used.
No, that's fair enough. But hopefully that goes well for you. Hopefully you do actually get those books out to the greater Cornish public and of course children as well. Would it be so? Is there anything else apart from books that you're doing, or is it simply just books?
Well, I am also helping translate a game into Cornish. It's called Unseen Diplomacy 2. It's from a Cornish studio.
A Cornish studio. What exactly do you do in that game?
It's a VR spy game. You have to play as a spy. Have to actually roll around and do all the actions in real life. You have, I think it's 12 or 14 days until Doomsday, and you have to progress through all the levels and try to save the world, basically.
Doomsday as in like the biblical rapture or like a nuclear war or
I have personally not got to that part of the game yet, so I'm not sure what Doomsday is.
okay, okay. And how's progress for that coming at the moment?
It's mostly done now.
Mostly done.
There's a few bits left to translate, but it should be ready by next week.
Next week, next week. Well,
Hmm.
if there are any viewers out there that like their games and want to play a game fully in Cornish, you can play that one. And what was it called again?
Unseen Diplomacy 2. It's
Un
on MetaQuest and Steam VR.
Excellent. If it's on Steam, I would imagine a lot of people it'll absolutely get out there for a lot of people. Steam VR,
Yeah,
excellent.
but it is important to keep in mind it is in early access, so there will be bugs.
All right. So is it still in the alpha stages or beta stages, or is it like a complete game at this point?
Well, the game is complete, but there is bugs and issues, so it is being worked out. It is early access.
Okay, okay, that's great. That is absolutely great. Well, it's great that you're doing all these things and that you're so active within the Cornish devolution movements. Elliot has been absolutely great to listen and hear about all these different things going on with Cornwall, because like generally I'm not very clued into UK politics outside of Scotland and what's the generalised mess that goes on within Westminster. I'm not really clued up to like a lot of this stuff, so it's been really nice for you to have you on and actually educate me about these different kinds of things. I'm sure that the greatest Cornish public would appreciate you being on this and talking about all the things that are going on too.
Well, it's been nice speaking about it and coming onto the show tonight.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just have one final question for you tonight, if that's all right.
Mhm.
So, where do you see your future political career going in terms of with maybe in Cairnrow and maybe with micronationalism and generally, Cornwall, the UK, micronationalism? Where do you see yourself going within all these kinds of things?
Well, I think I've partly answered this already, but
Hmm.
I hope to be an elected official one day, hopefully in a devolved Cornish assembly.
Hmm.
But if it's not that, I do hope to run in either Cornwall Council or otherwise one day.
Would you like to see yourself in the UK Parliament at one point, or would that be too much of a noise for you?
It really depends. Um, in an ideal world, yeah,
Yeah,
but it just really depends.
that's absolutely great. Well, again, it's been very nice having you on tonight. Again, I really appreciate you being here and again educating me about all these different things that are going on with Cornwall, because I'm not really clued into this, but so it's been very very interesting to listen to all of this stuff. And I'm sure that the viewers out there at home very much appreciate you talking about this kind of thing too. So without
You're right for having me.
yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. Maybe we can have you on the show again at some point just to talk about recent updates or things like that, etc.
Yeah, that
So
would be good.
yeah, yeah. We'll maybe schedule it in for some time in the future. I'm not sure when the future will be, but apart from the next second of every single day, but I'm not sure when that will actually be. But maybe we'll schedule to be on the show again at some point. Well, thank you for everyone that joined us at home. It's been very nice to be back for the next couple of weeks, and do join us again on Sunday, the 2nd of November, for another Balderdash campaign podcast with Ethan of the Sonland and Connor of Libertalia. Make sure that you um, subscribe to this channel and also follow the River Valley Radio um, X so you can see recent updates. There's also a Discord channel that you can follow too, and make sure to follow Ellie here on X at Ellie PHK. So thanks very much everyone for watching. Ellie again, thanks very much for being here, and it's been very nice. Thank you.